The mitochondria is an organelle that we do find in all eukaryotic cells. And so this is a structure that would be present in both plant and animal cells. And the purpose of this is going to be for energy production, but that energy production is going to be through the process of cellular respiration, which is a very important process for living cells. If we look at the structure of the mitochondria here, it does have some unique components or some unique structures that we don't tend to see in a lot of other organelles inside of eukaryotic cells. So to point out some of those features, in the mitochondria, we are going to have two membranes. And so if we go through and we point out where those two membranes are located at, we're going to have one right here. This would be the outer membrane. And then we have a second membrane located right here, which we refer to as the inner membrane. And notice that the inner membrane is kind of folded all over. And what those folds are going to do is those are going to increase the surface area that that inner membrane has. And the inner membrane is going to have a huge role in energy production through cellular respiration. So by having all of those folds, we're going to be able to increase the efficiency. So we do have a name for the folds. The folds are referred to as cristae. And so you can think of cristae as really the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now, because we have two membranes, we're also going to have two spaces or compartments inside the mitochondria. So if we go through and we point those out, they have been labeled with different colors here to make it a little bit easier to see the different compartments. So if we point them out, this one right here, which is the space between the inner and the outer membrane, that's referred to as the intermembrane space. And then on the very inside, shaded in kind of the light blue or the aqua color, this is going to be called the matrix. There are some other things located in the matrix that are kind of unique to the mitochondria. We do have some DNA located there. So mitochondria contain their own DNA. And this DNA is going to be similar to what we would find in prokaryotic cells. So it's going to be small circles of DNA, or you could say circular chromosomes, but they're relatively small. So if we draw some of those in, I'm going to put them right in here in the matrix, and there would be numerous ones. And then another thing that we're going to have here is the ribosomes are going to also be located inside. And then another thing that we're going to have is the mitochondria is going to contain some of its own ribosomes. So that means that the ribosomes are going to be able to make some of the mitochondrial proteins right there inside of the mitochondria, and the mitochondria won't be as reliant on the ribosomes that are located elsewhere inside the cell. Those ribosomes will also be in the matrix of the mitochondria. So I'm just drawing some in here, and there would be a whole bunch of them. So that's the general structure of the mitochondria. When we do talk about cellular respiration, we'll have different reactions happening in different places within the mitochondria. But we do want to keep in mind that this is a unique organelle that we're going to find in all eukaryotic cells, and that's both plant and animal cells.